morning, everyone. Glad you could join us on Facebook, on Zoom, wherever you're watching. I am anticipating this. Uh, we have a phenomenal topic. No one can tell us no. No one, absolutely no one to tell us no. Uh, and so I want to take the moment, first of all, to greet you. Um, and I would ask that you could share this with your friends or associates, anyone that you know who's going to need this. I want to take the moment to talk to singles for a second. And I want to share some key things with singles. I know most of the time being a single gets a bad rap. So people are saying, oh my God, the struggle is real. We went through a global pandemic. People are saying to themselves, during this whole global pandemic, we felt it. For those of us who were single, we felt it, the loneliness, the struggle with having to stay home, nobody to hug up on, nobody to speak to physically, no one's voice to whisper in your ears, no one to give you a nice hug, a long, lengthy hug, that whole nine. And it is at those moments many of us wish we were married. However, there are some great key benefits to being single. And I think many of us, if we focus on just being married, on just the arrival, we'll miss the good that is happening on the way to our destination. Sometimes we get so excited about getting to a specific place that we forget sometimes there's a whole lot of joy in the journey on the way there. The songs that you may be singing in the car, the ride, just how peaceful it could be, how enjoyable it is. And so I want to take the moment and just really speak from my heart and share some key things with you guys as it pertains to singleness. And so one of the first things I want to deal with while many desire marriage, I want you to understand that there are benefits to being single. Yes, there are. There are benefits for you being single. One such benefit, and the married folk are not going to be happy with this, but I'm going to tell you, one such benefit is that there is a level of freedom that you experience while you're single that you do not have under the umbrella of marriage. And the level of freedom is this, that you do not have an individual per se, a spouse to answer to. And with that being said, sometimes there's a lot of compromise that has to take place in marriage. It's the nature of marriage. It requires that. Being in a relationship sometimes requires that there's a lot of sacrifices that you make for the other individual, so that to keep the peace, maybe, so that things work right within the covenant. But when you are single, you have absolutely no one who can tell you no. If you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to get this job, there's no one that's going to say, I don't like that job. If you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and look as fine as I want to look, no one's going to say to you, I think you look better, keep the 10 pounds on, you're thicker. There is a level of freedom that exists. I was joking with some friends not too long ago, and I was saying to them that being single, sometimes I scratch how I want, and I could be as manly, and sometimes with our little manliness comes a little not so neat aspect of us, and there was no one to check it. No one to check it. And sometimes that freedom, that liberty could be good. It's a form of self-expression. Within marriage, though, however, I'm going to have to sacrifice that aspect. And so there's a level of freedom that does come with being single. Do not ignore it, because what often happens is people who don't take advantage of this freedom, this liberty, when they do get married, they come to the realization that, wow, I had this freedom and I never took advantage of it. And then there's almost like this regret sometimes that takes place. And so you want to enjoy your season of singleness and understand this freedom comes from God. The Bible even tells us this. It says that when you are single, you are free to work for the Lord to whatever capacity you desire, whatever capacity. You want to stay at the church all day, that's your business. No one that's going to say, nah, baby, you got to come home and give me loving. So that's that freedom that I'm speaking of. The second benefit that I think that exists in singleness is this: is self-development. That is not to say that you cannot have self-development within marriage, but here's what I'm saying. Sometimes in your single season, you have an opportunity to do so much. Again, let's go back to the job. You can develop yourself financially without restrictions. Uh, Whenever you get married, everything you do, you must consider your spouse. You don't make decisions on your own. You have to consider them. And so within this self-development, it's all for you. It's just you. It's not for you and your spouse. It's not for everybody else. This particular self-development is your thing. And so one such area is the area of finance. Imagine that, the area of finance. And so you get an opportunity to build, work towards your dream job, work towards opening the business you always wanted to have. There is nobody to tell you, unfortunately, this is not the best decision for us, and for no one to have an issue with that. You get an opportunity to build financially, whether that is your dream job. You get an opportunity to stack, put something in your bank account, make certain investments that perhaps if you get married, it's no longer just about you, but it's about us now. And so this is the moment for self-development and self-care. You get a chance to take care of self at this moment. There's no one that's going to tell you you've made a poor decision by paying for this dress. You made a poor decision by getting that suit. No, you answer to self, obviously to God, but I'm saying as it pertains to man in your own personal life, you answer to self. Another aspect of self-development is physically. We have to take the moment while we are single to work not just financially towards building ourselves, but we can build ourselves physically. That is, deal with certain health challenges that we may have, deal with perhaps weight management, whether it is to gain or to lose. Take the opportunity to really develop ourselves. Think about that. Just to be as fine as you want to be, just, if I could use the term, as sexy as you want to be. It is within that single season, because let me explain something to you. When you are financially established or well off, or where you are physically at the weight or the size or the shape you want to be, it does something to your confidence. It does something to your well-being. You feel different. You feel more confident. You feel more alive. You feel like you're you. And so it is in your single season. That's not to say that you can't do any of this while you're married, but in your single season, what is stopping you? You ought to take that time for self-development. And most importantly, it's not just financially, it's not just physically and health, but also emotionally. Now, this is important. This is very, very important. We must, ladies and gentlemen, while we are single, invest in our emotional well-being. So that includes breaking soul ties. All right. And many of us desire marriage. And if you're going to develop yourself emotionally, you have to sever soul tie. The emotion is within the soul. And you have to sever soul ties. You have to sever bad attachments. You have to sever connections that are ungodly, that are unfruitful, that are non-beneficial. You have to sever those things. That's in the emotion. You have to practice getting over an ex. You have to deal with that emotionally, because sometimes emotional baggages will drain us. It sucks the life out of you. And so it is imperative, ladies and gentlemen, it's an imperative that we deal with these emotional issues. It's very, very, very important. And so the benefits, I think, the benefits to singleness deals with obviously the freedom and self-development. Self-development being the first thing financially, secondly, physically, and obviously thirdly in the development portion emotionally. Please don't neglect that, because there are a lot of singles who desire marriage, but who have not invested emotionally in their well-being. And what tends to happen is you do not want to come into a relationship or a marriage when you're not emotionally whole, because what happens is sometimes you can create other issues that, trust me, it is better to be single than to marry wrong. It's better to wait long than to marry wrong. You don't want to get into the wrong marriage. You don't want to be married to somebody who's emotionally draining or emotionally abusive, emotionally just sucking the life out of you. And you do not want to be the person to do that to somebody else. And so it is imperative, it's very vital that we invest in our emotions. That means, yeah, therapy too. That means talking to somebody. That means taking advice. That means receiving wise counsel. You're not always right. And what sometimes the things we're not talking about or dealing with is eating us up on the inside. And so I think it's key, that emotional piece there. I could just sit on there for forever, because emotionally we really have to invest, ladies and gentlemen, in our emotional well-being. Because when you are emotionally well, hear me, when you are emotionally well, you exude a different level of confidence. You walk differently. You understand things differently. You ever seen somebody that's not emotionally well? They always think somebody's out to get them. She said, it's your paranoia from your past. You meet a man and you say, you know what? He just want to break my heart. That's why they all do. Heal. Until you heal, you can sometimes repel and push off what may be good for you. And so we have to be very careful to heal ourselves. Now, in addition to the benefits of singleness, there's something else I want to deal with singles about. And I hope this is well received. And this one is this. I've seen this all over the States and across the world, to be honest with you. Don't let your status, okay, dictate your destiny. Let me say that again. Do not allow your status to dictate your destiny. I got to repeat it one more time till somebody catch this thing. Do not allow your status to dictate your destiny. And that is to say, just because you are single, right, does not mean that you are to allow your singleness to affect where it is that you're going in life. Don't say, oh, because I'm single, I cannot accomplish this, or I cannot accomplish that, or I got to wait on my husband, or I got to wait on a wife. No. Do not, hear me, do not put your life on hold just because you haven't met your spouse you're going to marry yet. Do not put your life, listen, if I could challenge you for something, it would be this. Do not put your life on hold. Live the life that God has given you. Yes, while you're single. I understand that you're single. But do you know there are individuals, unfortunately, who are staying home, who are saying to themselves, I'm just going to wait until I meet my husband, and then maybe I'll go on vacation. Or I'm going to wait until my wife comes around. Then I'll eat at a good restaurant and enjoy good food. Wait a minute. We're not signing up for misery here. This is not it. Singleness is not misery. All right. You have been given a life. Live it. Live it till its fullness. Live it. If COVID had taught us anything, it should have taught us to live, because at any moment, that breath of life, we don't know when it would exit or leave our bodies. And so I think it is imperative. It is very crucial, very important that we live do not, hear me, do not put your life on hold. Very important. Don't say to yourself, you know what, I would buy a house, but I think I'll just wait till I get married. I really want the house, but let me just be homeless and be walking around living with people. And then when I get married, I'll get a house. No, live life. God has given you the ability to do something, do it. And then we'll maneuver after marriage. Maybe because you now have a home, uh, and maybe your spouse has a home. Now perhaps we can rent another home. We can sell a home. We can keep both homes, whatever. But it creates more options, more possibilities, more abilities. You don't want to restrict yourself. Don't say because I'm single, I'm not going to go on vacation. On the contrary, enjoy the life you have been. We have to remove this stigma from singleness that because we are single, that we have to be miserable. No, single or not, I charge you to live the life that God has given to you. Single or not, I challenge you to enjoy the life, live your best life. That means to enjoy the life that God has given you. Make the best of it. Can I be completely transparent with you? Life has its own troubles. Don't add any more stress to your life. Life has its own issues. Don't say when I meet a man of God or when I meet a woman of God or whatever the case is, then I'll start living. Until then, I'm just going to be miserable. No. Live your life. Do not, please hear me. Do not put your life on hold because of your status. Do not let your status dictate your destiny. That's very, very important. Do not say to yourself, because I'm single, I just can't do certain things. I'm limited. Why would you place a limit on yourself? Why would you say because I'm single, I can't make a purchase? Why would you say because I'm single, I cannot be happy? Because I'm single, I can't go eat at a restaurant. Because I'm single, I can't enjoy something. If God has given you the ability, there's still breath in your body. I do not believe God has called us unto misery to suffer without purpose, just to suffer because we're single. I don't think singleness was intended for suffering. I do not believe that. In fact, the Bible seems to suggest that within singleness, there's a freedom to do more for the Lord. So there's freedom to serve God in another dimension. And so then I think we have to live the life that God has given us. All right. Single or not, do not put your life on hold. Don't say, because I'm waiting for marriage that I can't live. No, you can live and wait. You can live. In fact, can I be honest with you? Sometimes for us single, it's because of our limitations. That's what prevents us from meeting the right individual. I've heard women say, I'm waiting on the husband God has for me. And that's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's commendable. That's honorable. However, you don't go out anywhere. You haven't positioned yourself to be found. And so then what then tends to happen is you're just sitting there idly, just wasting time. Enjoy life. Go out, go eat, get some friends, and enjoy the life that God has given you. Why must your life be put on hold? And so we've dealt with the benefits of marriage, all right, the freedom. We've dealt with self-development, correct? That is financially, emotionally, and physically. We've dealt with not putting your life on hold. And I want to address one more thing, all right? I want to address one more thing, and I pray this is well received. It ties in with the self-development. But I don't know if any of you have ever dated. And years later, you see the individual that you was with. You see them. All right? I don't know. You see them afar. And you take one good look at them. Whether ex-girl or ex-guy, I don't know, whatever. You see them and you say, what on earth was I thinking? This is not even my type. I don't even like that. Why was I with you? I don't know if anyone has ever experienced that, but you're confused as to that's not even what I like. Why did I even go that direction? Well, here's the reality. We date at the level of our maturity. All right. We date at the level of our maturity. And here's another thing. We date at the level of our confidence. And so what I challenge singles to do is to develop a better you, because a more mature you, a more confident you will attract a better spouse for you. All right. The person that I will be attracted to, if when I'm down here, is not the same type of person I'll be attracted to while I'm up here. And so while you're single, you have the opportunity to build yourself up to such a capacity, to such a place that you will deal with people in that same realm, in that same level, in that same sphere, as opposed to being a lower version of yourself and attracting people within that area. It's imperative, it is key that we invest in ourselves for this reason. We invest because a better you will attract a better spouse. I'm gonna say that again. A better you will attract a better spouse. I'll put it this way. Sometimes what we are or who we are exudes certain things out. You ever been, I'll use this example. You ever been to a church, and let's say it's a mega church, big church, large church. I've noticed something, just going around, I've noticed something. I've noticed that somehow all the gossipers always find each other, no matter how big the church is. All the hateful people manage to find one another. All the people that's into the nastiest, freakiest, fornicating type, they always locate one another. It's almost like what you attract what you are. It's almost like you pull on certain things. And so if you have a struggle, if you have some issues, sometimes it helps to spend that time in self-development to become a better version of yourself, a better you, because then you draw. Let me put it this way. I have seen where individuals would say, I would not even try to get with her. This is way out of my league. I will not even waste my time because she is a good woman. He is a good man. And I know me. I'm not even going to waste my time because I know that's way out of my league. And I don't qualify for that position. I don't meet the requirements to date her. I don't meet the requirements to be with him. Why? Because they know the level of standard that you uphold. And your level of standard is not just what you say, this is the standard that I hold. This is what I have. This is who I am. No, it's the life that you live. It's your character. Because there's nothing worse. I'll tell you this. There is nothing worse than falling in love for charisma and then being stuck with their character afterwards. Their charisma is their gift, their ability to speak, their personality, how wonderful they are. Sometimes people have great personality, but no character. Character is how integral they are. How honest are they? Do they live based on the principles they claim to live by? And so when you've developed your character, it's one thing to develop your personality. It's another thing to develop your character. When you've developed your character, in fact, I'm going to say this, your desires change as you mature and develop. What you used to like, you no longer like. I'm telling you, I've seen people see their ex and say, I'm confused. Why was I interested in her or in him to begin with? Why? Because that's what you used to be. And the old you had a desire for that. But as you mature and change and you grow, your desires mature and change. What I used to like as a kid, I may not necessarily like today. Why? Because I'm a different person. I've matured. I've grown. My confidence level is different. What I need is different. What I desire. So it is imperative, you see, as you develop yourself, this is the important thing about self-development. As you develop yourself, your desires change. You start taking people out of the equation that before you would have considered, but now You know, because at a lower level, you said to yourself, you know, I guess I could deal with a liar. I know they're going to stress me, but whatever. I'll take somebody that's going to stress me. But when you've discovered then who you are through self-development, you can then sit back and look and say, you know what? I just can't do it. I'm not going to allow anybody to come into my space and be toxic and stress me and destroy the life that I've already built. You're just not going to do it. I don't know if you see how everything ties in. In the freedom, I told you to build yourself, right? Emotionally, physically, financially. Can you imagine you've accomplished so much and you've built so much and done so much? And just for you to find somebody that you know is going to come into your space and sabotage everything, destroy everything that you worked so hard for. You will not. And so you see what that does? That changes your dating pool. It takes Bobo the fool out. You know, it takes so-and-so out. Oh no, you're not even into the running anymore. You're no longer a consideration because your character's not up to par. Your standards are different. Let me tell you something. As a man, I'm going to say this. And allow me to speak freely if I can, please. I have seen certain women walk into a room and perhaps the woman didn't even have to say anything. But the way she carried herself was different. The aura she exuded, everything about her, the anointing on her life, just what emanated from her said to you, you know what? You better go back and get yourself together because this is not one to play with. You don't just, you don't just come in that. No, you got to put in work. You see the way Jacob put in the work for Rachel, you've got to put in work. You know, the right one sometimes will require work. And so I tell men sometimes we have to put in the work. And there's nothing wrong with putting in work. There's nothing wrong with putting in work. All right. And so it is imperative. I don't want singles out here doing what I see them doing, and that is putting their life on hold. You have no one. That's our theme. You have no one to tell you no. And you're now putting a restriction on yourself. No one to stop you but you. No one to tell you no but you. Why would you tell yourself no? Why would you restrict yourself? You had limitless opportunities and abilities that God has given you. Put it to work. There's a prophetic gold on your hands. Whatever you put your hands to do, God causes it to prosper. Why then would you remove yourself from putting in the work and making things happen for you? Why would you not develop yourself? Why would you not allow God to write a love story for you? Why would you not put yourself up to the place where you know you can be? Why restrict yourself? Why sit and continually complain, oh my God, I don't have the money that I would like to have. I don't have the physique that I would like to have. I'm not emotionally where I would like to be. Why just sit there and complain about it and not put in the work? Think about it. Think about it. Can you imagine? And let me say this. Can you imagine many of us may be upholding our own blessing? Many of us may be saying, I desire marriage. I desire a spouse. I want to be married. And yet we could be, and God could be saying, listen, we've got something going on here, but you haven't put in the work. You haven't gotten yourself together up to that place. And so I want to challenge you. There's no one, absolutely no one that can stop you and no one that can tell you no. I wish I could see the Facebook comments. Because I would really like to take some questions. I really would. I would love to take some questions. I think this would be a great session to take just a few questions. No one to tell you no. Why would you limit yourself? No one to tell you no. Why would you then look at yourself and say no? No one to tell you no, and yet you're going to put a hold on your life? No one to tell you no, and yet still not. If there was no one to stop you, from your goal. Let's say you're at a job and you're looking for a promotion and there's no one in there stopping you. Would you go to get the promotion? What I'm saying is, in your personal life, you have no one to tell you no. No one to tell us no. As singles, we can thrive. Now, when we get married, obviously, it requires a whole different set of rules. There must be some sacrifices that are made. There must be some compromises that takes place. I mean, compromise within the good sense. You compromise for the sake of the marriage because, to some degree, you must die so us can exist. That's the principle of marriage. But in singleness, this is the time for me to thrive. This is the time for me. It's the time for me to enjoy me. You shouldn't be miserable because you're single. Singleness is not a moment where you're like, I wish I had somebody. Nobody wants me, blah, blah, blah. Everybody that I meet is no good. Okay. That sort of energy that you're exuding will only keep drawing the same type of people. But as I'm telling you, as you develop yourself, as you mature, not only do you desire something different, you attract different. The people that come to you now are different. They come with a level of respect. You carry yourself different. You are different. You walk different. You may even look different. I've heard people tell people as they work on self-development, there's a glow about you. You look radiant. You're glowing. There's a spark in your eyes. You look different because as you develop, something happens in you. You feel better about yourself. Now, I'll tell you what. So in the beginning of the year, I was extremely overweight. And I decided I'm going to work at my physique for multiple reasons, obviously for health purposes and as well as for the physical look. I would like to look a certain way. And so what I did is I got to work. And I'm still not 100% where I want to be, but I feel much, much better. I'm more confident. I'm happier with myself. I don't wake up feeling sluggish. I don't wake up feeling depressed and down and disgusted with what. No, because I put in the work. And yes, it's hard work. Yes, it's not easy, but it's worth it. That's what I want you to understand. It's worth it. And you are worth it. And so if you want to attract a better version, a better individual, then you have to become a better you. It's just that simple. There's freedom in singleness. There's self-development, all right? Financially, emotionally, physically. There's no one to restrict us, to stop us from getting to our destination. And knowing that a better me will attract a better individual, why would I allow myself to be restricted when there's no one to tell us no? Zero. Absolutely no one to tell us no. Ladies and gentlemen, I pray you were blessed by this. I pray that you sincerely enjoyed this as I did. If I could have seen the live on Facebook, I would have loved to dialogue with some folks and really get some questions. I thank you all for your feedback. What I've seen here on Zoom, I thought it was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I think our hour is coming up. I so enjoyed you all. Thank you so very much. This was phenomenal. I pray you got something from it. I pray you got something from it. I pray you were blessed. I pray that it was life-changing. And thank you so much. I want to thank Lotoya for the opportunity to be here, to be able to speak for the platform that she has permitted me to be on her platform, to share with you guys. Again, I pray that you all were blessed by this. I pray that God ministered something to your heart as I was speaking. I pray that God enlightened you and said, oh my God, and caused you to say, yeah, I see what I need to do now. I see what I need to tweak in my life. I see the changes and the shift that must take place. And so I pray this was a blessing to you. I love you all very, very, very much. I appreciate you much. Thank you so very much for being here with us. Those who registered and who are on Zoom, as well as those who are within the Facebook group and watching us. God bless you all. I pray the best, and I pray that you have a wonderful rest of the day and continue enjoying this virtual retreat. From what I've seen so far, it's been absolutely phenomenal. And I cannot wait. I know at 3 p.m. we have a all-male panel. I cannot wait for this. I hope you join us again for that. I love you all. God bless you.
Okay. This is so good. This is so good. Oh my God, bless you, John. Bless you so very much. Where are you? I have stopped this. I have stopped
I'm here. I'm here.
I've stopped the live on Facebook just now.
Okay.
So very
Okay.
much. Yes. I believe we have Joshua is on. And Colette, do you have anything for in Whitney? Do you have anything for John? Want to hear you.
I would love to hear them as
Yeah.
well.
Colette, are you there? I mean, they're probably just.
Hi, yes, I'm here, but I don't have anything at the moment. But if there's anything, I would get the message to you so you can get it to him. You know,
How did you enjoy the gems that were dropped this evening?
it was actually good. I took down some notes. It's just for me as a single person to apply them to my life before getting into marriage.
Right.
So yeah, it was really good. Good insight. God bless you, man of God.
Thank you. God bless you.
Right. You're muted.
Are we? Oh,
There we go.
single, but we enjoyed it. It was so powerful.
They always say, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and you know what we heard this morning, it was so impactful. I think what really stood out was that you said, don't let your status dictate your destiny, and it's so often we allow our present to you know give us an appearance of what we think our entire life would look like when our present is the present and there's still a future beyond the present. And so you know, I think that was just that was very deep, and I think, you know,
hey man,
really good.
You made some fans out of us. I'll be honest.
Amen. God bless you all.
Absolutely.
God bless you.